Hey everyone, welcome to the video. This one we are going over my cheat sheet for the championship race at Homestead, the Ford EcoBoost400 in Miami. So I am looking forward to this race. I'm sure you guys are as well. And I just want to say right off the bat, it was a fun season with you guys. I hope I was of some help to you guys. I hope I helped you guys win some money. Hope you guys had some good weeks. It was a very good season for me, so hopefully it was for you guys as well. So I am looking forward to this race, and I will miss making these videos, but we'll be back in February for the Daytona 500. So I'll be looking forward to that. It's a shorter off season, so it's not like we have to wait too long. So we'll make it through February. And if you guys haven't already, just check out the NFL content or the NBA content, and then we'll be doing MLB once that rolls around as well. So if you're just here for the NASCAR, if you want to try out some other sports, I do that as well, and it's been a very good season in all sports so far. So anyway, before we continue, if you guys could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get into this race, and let's just go over some race and track info first. So this is the Ford EcoBoost400. We are at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's a paved oval track. It's 1.5 mile in length. We got 267 laps on tap, and it's going to give us about 200.25 Dominator points available. So not too much, not too little though. So it's just your typical 1.5 mile track, just in terms of Dominator points. And some strategy and tips. We're going to 1 to 2 Dominators per lineup. And you're going to want one of the championship guys in your lineup because we want guys that are racing for something. And, the 4 championship guys, Hamlin, Truex, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick, we want them in our lineups because they have the most incentive to win this race. So definitely want to get one of those guys in my lineup for sure. And, yeah, so let's get into the cheat sheet, go driver by driver. And, yeah, let's get into it. So qualifying, it kind of sucks because everyone that's good's up in the front, and then everyone's that's bad's in the back because they didn't have practice when they should have, and then they couldn't get the qualifying done. Just some other stuff with weather. So they ended up just going by points, and all the good guys are way up front. So it's going to be a little difficult here. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a single yet or not. Or I might just, I take that back. I'm going to do single entry, but it's going to be tough picking between which guys I want. But let's just start up front. We got Kyle Busch at 11,400. He qualified fourth, and so he's okay. He's pretty good here. I mean, obviously it's Kyle Busch. 46 DraftKings points per race, average drive rating of 111, average finish of 10.4. Does have a win here in the past 5 races. He's in the top 5 60% of the time, top 10 80% of the time. He's averaging 21 laps led per race here, and averaging 26 fast laps, 26.4 fast laps, which is actually second highest out of all drivers, and average running position of 8.6. Yes, he's a good play, and a lot of these guys, they don't stand out from one another, except for a guy I really like, Kevin Harvick. But my plan is just to mix and match these guys. So, for NASCAR, I always like to build multiple lineups. I do play single entries and 3 entries, but I'd really just like to get a mix and match of these guys because they all obviously all the championship guys. They're fighting for a win here. They want the championship, and they're all great drivers. They all got great cars. They're all pretty good here, so they all make sense to me. So my plan is just to mix and match here, but I'm just going to tell you guys the stats here. Then you can kind of build your own narrative however way you want it, and I'll tell you who I prefer the most anyway. But just letting you guys know now. And Denny Hamlin, he is on the pole, so obviously there's a good chance of him getting up front and leading some laps, but he does have Kevin Harvick right behind him, which is a little scary. But Denny Hamlin averaging 38 DraftKings points per race here, average finish of 9.4, average drive rating of 102.6, top 5 0% of the time. Now that's the concern here, but the guy's been on fire. But I gotta say though, I really like Kevin Harvick, who's right behind him, so maybe I'll be a little less on Denny Hamlin. But the guy's been good. It wouldn't surprise me if he led laps here and potentially won the race. He's in the top 10, 80% of the time. Obviously, he's gonna be the top 15, top 20 majority of the time. He's averaging 18 laps led per race here, 11 fast laps, average running position of 8.6. So it's not like he's bad here. He just hasn't been dominant like guys like Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson. So that's a little bit of concern here, but he's been great this season. He's going to be on the pole, so it's just an easier path for him to lead laps. But I really, really like Kevin Harvick, who's right below him at 10,800. I'm pretty sure he's going to be my most highest owned Dominator this week because he is just so good at Homestead. Just take a look at his numbers here. Dominant. 71 DraftKings points per race here. Average driver rating of 124.6, which leads all drivers. Average finish of 2.6. 2.6 average finish. That's incredible. That's very, very good. So Kevin Harvick has been awesome here. Does have a win here in the past 5 races. He's in the top 5 100% of the time. Past 5 races, he's been in the top 5 every single time. The guy is incredible here. And so I'm saying that's the only concern I have with Denny Hamlin right there, because Kevin Harvick wouldn't surprise me if he got up front quick, averaging 47 laps led per race here, and averaging 26 fast laps per race, and an average running position of 3.4. So Kevin Harvick, pretty sure he's my favorite high-end option here, especially from all these dominators. So I do like him. He's only the 3rd highest expensive guy. I do prefer him over Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. So Kevin Harvick, that's the guy I'm probably going to go with my single entries. But I like all these guys, but Kevin Harvick really stands out to me. His numbers are just incredible, and he's been very good this playoff stretch. So Kevin Harvick, I like him a lot. Martin Truex Jr., another guy I like. Obviously, I like all these guys. I'm sorry that I have all these first 6 guys as green, but they're all just so good here, and they're all qualified up front. So that's the problem here, because all the good guys are up front this week. But that's what we have to live with. But Truex here, 37 DraftKings points per race here, which is actually worst out of all these drivers in this range. So maybe you want to go a little bit lower on him. But it's not like he's bad here at all. He does have a win here in the past 5 races. Average driver rating 98.2, which is actually lowest of this group here. I think it's 5 drivers. So. But it does have a win here. He's in the top 5 40% of the time, which isn't too bad. But again, it's the least amount of all these top 5 drivers that are 10K plus. So that's another concern. But, it's still Martin Truex Jr. Would it ever surprise you if he gets up front, dominates, and wins? No. Averaging 20 laps led per race here, 12.2 fast laps, and an average running position of 9.4, which again is worst out of all these drivers up here. So I guess maybe if you want to be a little bit lower on Martin Truex Jr., you could, but I feel like I want to get equal amount of exposure, maybe besides Kevin Harvick, because he's just been so dominant here. And Kyle Larson, he loves Homestead. You guys, everyone knows that and knows NASCAR. He loves Homestead. He's averaging 87 DraftKings points per race here. Average driver rating of 115. Average finish of 7.2. He's in the top 5 60% of the time. Top 10 60% of the time. Top 15 100% of the time. Averaging 65 laps led per race here, which is most out of all drivers. Averaging 46.2 fast laps per race here, which is most out of all drivers. He has an average running position of 6.6. Kyle Larson, I think he's a very good play. Problem is, he is not in the championship, but I could still see him getting up front. He's just so good here, so I don't mind Kyle Larson either. Joey Logano, I almost didn't tag him as a dominator because I'm really just trying to target these championship guys as my dominators, but he's been good here too, so I didn't want to just leave him out. But he's on the outside looking in for, making a main lineup for me, but definitely probably want to get some exposure. Because, last week I really was not Joey Logano whatsoever, and he ended up dominating. And that's how it goes with Joey Logano. I swear, whenever the guy's low owned, that's when he dominates and goes off. Now, that was nice for me because I got him low owned at Bristol in the spring race, and he ended up going nuts. Won me that GPP, but I was not on him last week, unfortunately. But yeah, Joey Logano, he's averaging 55 DraftKings points per race here, which is actually 3rd most out of all drivers. Average driver rating of 116.4. Average finish of 6.2. Does have a win here in the past 5 races. He's in the top 5 60% of the time. Top 10 80% of the time. The guy's really good here, and he's only 9,800, so I don't mind that at all. And I think, he's a pretty good GPP play. I just wish he was in the championship because then I'd have more incentive to play the guy. But still, he's been very good here. He's averaging 32 laps led per race here, which is the 3rd, and then 14.4 fast laps, which is pretty good as well. Then an average running position of 4.8, which is actually 2nd best out of all drivers. So Joey Logano, he has been no slouch here. He has been very good, so I don't mind him either. And we kind of run into a dry spell here because obviously if I like all these high-end guys, I'm not going to be able to play these guys in the 9K and 8K range. So I'm not just telling you guys to play all the most expensive guys. Because, well, actually I am, but I'm also taking you guys down a couple tiers for the next set of drivers I like. Because obviously, if I like guys like Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, you're not going to be able to play Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer as well, because that's just not possible for roster construction. So we're going to take a dip all the way down here to Ryan Newman, who is actually pretty good at Homestead here. So he qualified 15th. I say qualified, but you guys know what I mean. Qualified 15th, and he's 8K. He's averaging 31 DraftKings points per race here. Has an average driver rating of 86.1, which is pretty good given the rest of these guys in this price tier. Average finish of 13.6, which is the best out of all drivers in the 8K price tier. And he's in the top 5 20% of the time, top 10 40% of the time, top 15 60% of the time. And as for his average running position, he's not had a win here, but you never really expect Ryan Newman to win a race anyway. But he's an average running position of 12.6. Ryan Newman, he's pretty good here, and at 8K, I think he's a pretty good mid-range option, so he would make sense as a place differential play. It's not like he's starting in the 20s, but I think he can finish, somewhere around 13, and I will take that at this price. I'm not in love with it, but I will take it. I won't be too upset about it. Jimmy Johnson, I think he's another fine play. He qualified 18th. He's averaging 38 DraftKings points per race here, average drive rating of 89.2, which is very good considering his price tag, because only Kurt Busch is above him, just slightly above him, and he's 9,000, so I do like that. But yeah, Jimmy Johnson, average finish of 12, which is also very good. He does have a win here in the past 5 races. He's in the top 5 20% of the time, top 10 60% of the time, top 15 80% of the time. He's looking like a pretty strong play here at only 7,900, averaging, what was the running position? 13.8 average running position, so that's not too bad either. So Jimmy Johnson, I think he's a fine mid-range play as well, just like Ryan Newman is. Alex Bowman, not a huge sample size, but has struggled at Homestead. MDB, I mean, there's certain tracks I like him, but not this one. Daniel Suarez, no thank you. Paul Menard, I guess he's fine. Not in love with him, but he's averaging 32.5 DraftKings points per race here. Average finish of 16. I wish he qualified a little bit further back. Unfortunately, he qualified 19th, but I think he's okay. He's in the top 5 20% of the time, top 10 20% of the time, top 15 40% of the time. It's not too bad, and I think he's going to be fine. But I do think he probably finishes right around where he starts, so don't love it, but he's also decently cheap. I hate Austin Dillon, but he's in play again. He qualified 22nd, and he's been pretty good at Homestead. He's has an average finish of 14.6, average drive rating of 80.9, and he's in the top 15 80% of the time. That's pretty darn good, especially given his price tag. He has an average running position of, well, I'll tell you in a second, 14.8, which also isn't very bad. So I do like Austin Dillon here. He should be able to move up spots, and he's pretty cheap. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I said that weird, Jr. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. qualified 23rd. He's 6,900. DraftKings points per race here at 17 doesn't look too great, but he does have an average finish of 21. He's in the top 15 20% of the time, top 20 40% of the time. I think there's a little bit of potential here for him to move up. He's cheap, so I don't mind that. Chris Buescher and Ty Dillon, I really don't like either of them that much, but I mean, I think there's a chance they can move up. More so Ty Dillon, but again, they're not the best plays in the world, but really don't have too many good plays on this slate besides the guys starting up front. So we're kind of just hoping these guys stay right around where they started, and then we nab the dominators. Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Preece, not really in love with them. Bubba Wallace, I think he's actually probably the best cheap guy here. So he qualified 27th. He's 5,900, averaging 25 DraftKings points per race here. Average finish of 21 is not too bad either. As for his average running position, I believe it's right around 25. Not the best, but I do like the average finish of 21, and I think he should be able to move up a couple spots. And he's 5,900, and there's really not that many good plays back here. And we know Bubba Wallace at least has some upside to, at least get, not up front, but, move up some spots at least. So I think Bubba Wallace is fine. Can't get that. David Reagan, I think he's another okay play. Qualified 31st, averaging 28 DraftKings points per race here. We're only 5,700, average finish of 24.6. So on average, he would be moving up, near almost 6-7 spots. So David Reagan, I think he's fine. Chastain, never really want to play him. Drew Herring, no thank you. Michael McDowell, he's only 5,300. He qualified 28th. He's in the top. He's averaging 26 DraftKings points per race here. Has an average finish of 23.2. He's in the top 10 20% of the time. Outlier, but still, he was in the top 10, top 15. 20%. It's all because he finished up high the one time. But for the average running position, it is 26.6. Not too bad. He qualified 28th. Should be able to move up a couple spots. He's only 5,300. He's really cheap. Not the worst driver in the world, so I don't mind him as a cheap play. And that's really probably the lowest I will go at this point. Maybe take a stab at Corey LaJoie, but I'm not sure if I really want to at this point. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Sorry there's not a ton of awesome plays just because of how qualifying went. All the good guys are up front and all the bad guys are in the back. So there's not some obvious place differential plays. And inspection is tomorrow morning, but that should have no effect on the qualifying order. So the order will be set, and hope you guys enjoy the race tomorrow, because this is going to be it for this video. Hopefully your favorite driver wins, or if he's in the championship, hopefully he wins the championship. And yeah, it's going to be it for this video, guys. It was really fun this season doing the videos. I'm going to miss it, but I'll be back in February for Daytona. And you guys know I love restrictor plate races. That's no longer a thing, but you guys know I love that. It's always got a good strategy for that racetrack, and it usually tends to be profitable. So I'll see you guys back in February for the NASCAR videos. I hope you guys smash tomorrow and just enjoy the race and enjoy football as well. If you guys are playing NFL DFS, check out the NFL DFS videos I put out every other day pretty much, and then I do my NBA videos every day as well. So see you guys then, and wish you guys the best of luck.